was always something exciting and compelling to do in this place.
When I arrived here in the Department of Justice, I suddenly had an incredible opportunity.
J'étais vraiment contente de pouvoir rentrer au sein du ministère de la Justice.
There was no case like it in the Supreme Court.
There just seemed to be a momentum to get things done. I'm Leslie Holland. I was a senior general counsel in the Department of Justice. I was the first woman lawyer hired in the Toronto Regional Office of the department. The first big project I did was in relation to a proposed building of an airport at Pickering. And my job was to draft hundreds of claims to expropriate all that land. And I did all of that by hand. In 1973, there was no technology in the department. No computers, faxes, photocopiers even. We had none of that. The secretaries would either take dictation, or we had these funny, very old-fashioned dictaphones. The original typewriters you couldn't correct, and it was a big deal when they could actually go back one letter and correct, but they had to erase on the carbon copies. And at the time, the important files of the day, the only way you could get a hold of them was to go down to the records room in the basement of the old Justice Building and look through the file cards. It was 2 floors, about football field size, and they were crammed full of files. I remember a file that Sir John A. Macdonald had authorized the payment of $5 to a woman because her cow had been killed by a train. Computers were in their infancy, not in general use at all. We decided in the department to embark on a project, which we called the Opinions and Precedents Retrieval Unit project. And the idea was to go through all of these files in the basement of the building, but we still couldn't, at that time, put the whole thing on the computer. All we could do was to use keywords and a short summary of the file, and that was what went into the computer. And the files we were keeping went back down to the file room with the opinion or precedent flagged. And people would look on the computer, find their file, and then the file would be sent to them. It was quite some time after that before these documents could be scanned and indexed into a computer system. But at the time, it was a bit of a revolution. And that was sort of my memorable moment in the history of the Department of Justice.